We got this from Post Millennial. Secret Service HQ told agents not to request more security for Butler rally, where Trump was shot, according to a whistleblower. Senator Josh Hawley released a letter Friday that revealed a new whistleblower allegations. The Secret Service headquarters had told agents in charge of the trip not to request more resources for the Butler, PA rally. Due to security failures, would-be assassin Thomas Matthew Crooks was able to take shots at Donald Trump. The more we learn about this, now HQ said don't request more security. You line these pieces up, they won the lottery twice in a row. I don't buy it.
Yeah, well then add to it that Donald Trump, since he left the White House, had not had a counter sniper team on his detail. The first time they finally do it, and by the way, based off of these disclosures, it's also included that it was not until 24 hours prior to this event that they finally authorized a counter sniper team to be on his detail, and 24 hours later, a bullet grazes the right side of his head. How is it even possible that that's coincidental?
And is it true that counter sniper team did not take the first shot and retaliate?
They did not take the lethal shot, is my understanding, but I don't know. I don't know for sure that that's been like conclusively answered.
I heard today that 5 Secret Service agents resigned.
Put on leave.
Put on leave. Is that because of this?
In connection to this, I mean, the head of the Secret Service right now is saying, well, we don't want to rush to any conclusions, which I know you're not rushing. This has been over a month.
It's been 6 weeks, dude.
It's not no rush at all. But, you know, I think something you were mentioning before is that Trump does go out of his way to praise Secret Service agents that he works with closely. And the Trump family was doing this at the RNC as well. Mm-hmm. I find it interesting because so much of what happened seems to be a difference between the Secret Service that's sort of headquartered in Washington operating and the agents that are actively with the Trump family. I'm not saying that they couldn't all be working together or getting some kind of memo, but there seems to be obviously a divide in communication because one of the reports that came out was that, you know, the Trump's team had no idea that there was an identified threat before they sent him out on stage.
Right.
You guys are at the same event. How is this not communicated at all? And it makes me think of kind of Trump's history with staffing. He would back people that, you know, I didn't think were good. I think a lot of people were critical of, but he kind of stood by them. There is a loyalty streak to Donald Trump that I think sometimes might be misplaced.
Yes, but I don't think that loyalty streak extends to him losing his life, and he almost did. So I think I personally lean towards him biding his time. But I want the listeners to remember that it was 48 hours later that the RNC goes off, and you would have had a different nominee. While the nation was in mourning, they would have clearly foisted Nikki Haley upon us, while also painting this absurd, contrived narrative that the Iranians were responsible for the attack on Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. And then, what do you know? We have 2 candidates that are perfect puppets that are both hawkish towards Iran, and now we have our war that we've been waiting for 20 years. Yeah. I mean,
the people who believe that Donald Trump staged the assassination blow my mind. They think these are the... What was it Michael Malice was saying? These are the people who are saying, why don't you just shoot the gun out of his hand when the cops are dealing with the guy?
Right.
That Donald Trump turned his head and got hit in the ear. They genuinely believe either the person aimed for the ear or Trump hit a gel pack in his hat to fake it. Why is his ear healed? I mean, dude, it's like 2 weeks later. His ear healed. What are you talking about?
In defense of the crazies, if there was a president I thought that could pull that off, it would be the guy who was in the WWE for years, because that's what wrestlers do. They would cut themselves. But look, I've watched the footage extensively. Corey Comparatore clearly lost his life thanks to a headshot from lead that's moving extraordinarily fast. So I think it's an absurdity to believe that was a
And I don't think Trump needed to. He was already leading Biden. Biden was in bad shape. Like, that's something you do if you're behind and you really need to surge forward. Trump doesn't need to risk his own life or stage an attempt on his own life.
Secret Service wouldn't have resigned if it was fake. None of them would have resigned.
And then consider the other angle of this. If you're going to do that, that means that you've sold out. That for whatever reason, because if you remember, CNN and all these organizations that had never been covering Trump's rallies, suddenly we're all covering that rally?
I don't know that's true.
Well, based off of what I read, it was, but I don't know.
When the day that happened, everybody was saying that, and I could not find any clips from CNN or other outlets that were live during the rally.
It was live streaming on their website. I don't know if it was on their channels.
Maybe. Yeah. I couldn't find any videos for that. So
really? Okay.
I could be wrong. Okay. I said, okay, I need to verify this, and I was unable to confirm it. So my position is, I don't know that's true.
That's fair. Then I'll hold off on that.
Because that implies foreknowledge.
Well, exactly, and that's what a lot of people were thinking, is that if this is a put on by Trump that Trump is in on, well, then you don't see the story buried over the next 3 weeks. You see it upsold by the media because they have apparently become an unlikely team. I just think it's BS.
Yeah, I think even defending that narrative that it was fake is a mistake. It's like defending that he pooped his pants.
I was
in the middle
jokingly
of it.
defending it,
Yeah,
just to be clear.
But like, I don't even want to deign the conversation with respect because it's so asinine to consider that.
Xavier, do you have an opinion on Trump's assassination attempt and how it affected independent voters?
I think it woke a lot of people up to just how irrational and extreme our voting process or just our election process has gotten. Any sane person isn't wanting to see a presidential candidate get assassinated. Like, as much as I can't stand Kamala Harris, I would never wish that upon her. So I do think it swayed a lot more independent voters to look deeper into, okay, what is actually happening here? Why are they so desperate to take him out? And what is it that they're so afraid of him doing that they're trying to do this for? But I definitely think it was something that the CIA or the Secret Service was in on. I think that's pretty clear just based on the evidence that's going on. But like you were saying, Ian, to say that it was, and I know you weren't saying it in a serious manner, but entertaining the idea that Trump was in on it, it's just not worth it. What would he have benefited from that? If it would have, that so easily could have went the worst possible way. So I don't think that there's any way that would have benefited Trump.
Then you also have to believe that Trump is okay with some of his most ardent supporters taking live fire directly behind him. It's an absurdity.
Of course, these people think that, though.
Yeah.
These Democrat voters,
Well, because they think he's a monster, yeah.
They live in TV world. They think they're in a movie, and Donald Trump is the supervillain. Trump was already president for 4 years, and it was relatively mundane, except for COVID.
Agreed.
The problems of the Russia Gate scandal, those Democrats who did that. Trump wasn't doing nothing.
Right.
Then the Ukraine Gate scandal. Once again, Democrats did that. They live in this broken reality. I don't know how these people break out of it. That's why I'm so excited about the RFK Jr. thing, though, because that is a sledgehammer to the 1984 TV screen of Big Brother. There's a sledgehammer to Big Brother's TV, because a lot of people are going to have to now reconcile. RFK Jr. is saying these things? That's tough. And I know, like you're saying, some people might, like Ian was saying, the media got to him early to try and poison the well. It's still a powerful force that's going to be hard for people's cognitive dissonance to reconcile. That RFK Jr. says, this is not the party of my family. I can't support this. And they're going to have to now contend with, is he a fascist too?
Right.
I don't know how.
Bobby should go on the podcast market hard now. Now's the time to keep this message amplifying of why he's.
I think we'll see a lot more of him for sure. I think, partially now because he is a part of the Trump campaign in a way. And I think he does have an influence with a lot of people, but also because he said, I'm going to take my name off the ballot in swing states, but I'm staying on everywhere else. Like, he is actively still kind of on the campaign trail, which is a very interesting position to be in. But I think Tim's right. I think Democrats do live in TV world. And, this is partially because they bring out every celebrity they can during their convention. But also, one of the people that made me laugh, I can't remember the actor's name, but he spoke on night one and he placed that terrible president on the show Scandal. Like, their best choices are just soap opera like fake politicians, and I think that's really how they govern a lot of what they're doing. It's all viewed through the lens of entertainment and Hollywood.
House of Cards, that was a show that got people primed to hate a corrupt president. Marvel movies get the hero-villain narrative embedded in people's minds.
And then what did they do for Harris's campaign? They were like, how can we allude to any popular pop singer right now, right? Like that is really their game plan, to make it seem like she's not just like this mysterious figure who suddenly popped up after kind of being semi-absent in the White House that she's got her name on for the last 3 years. They're making it seem like she's your cool, trendy aunt.
She's having a brat summer. I think one of the other lessons that we learned from the assassination attempt is that left-wing and legacy media overall, to be honest, is not doing a good job of adapting to the fact that we are able to access information much faster than they can craft a narrative. Because right after they tried to shoot Donald Trump, or literally shot him, you see all these headlines talking about it was glass, or something bounced up, or there was loud noise, like those fraudulent headlines that really, as someone in Gen Z, like, that was insulting to my intelligence. Like, you really think that you're just going to put a headline in front of me saying that there were loud noises? Or I even saw one saying that Trump fell. You're going to tell me that he fell? I just looked on Twitter and saw all these videos of this man being shot, and you're going to gaslight me and tell me that he fell? They're not adapting well to that. They can't control the way that we are perceiving information when we're able to access it now in real time.
Here's another thing to add to RFK Jr.'s endorsement is an open door now for a lot of people who can now feel safe to somewhat get behind Trump. So there could be personalities who are not pro-Trump before who might be like, well, I still have some deep concerns about him, but I trust Bobby. And so this opens a pathway now where he's bridged some of the more moderates who might have been scared to speak up, might actually speak up.
Well, it puts me in that position where I was heavily considered. I talked to Ian about this regularly. Like, I thought that while I like Trump obviously better than Kamala, I still thought that what Bobby brought to the table, kind of broadening the Overton window on topics that I really care about, I was like, I might just vote for this dude, even though I disagree with him on many things too, obviously. But now he's off the table, and it's like, all right, well, it's communism versus Trump. It's not a real hard selection at that point.
That and if Trump brings RFK into his administration for Health and Human Services to address those issues,
Huge deal.
That's basically Trump saying, I might not admit it, but I'll put a guy you like in charge of it. How about that?
What concerns me, I guess, a little bit is it's a lot of changes. They're talking about doing a lot of changes right away.
We need it.
We do need it, but can it happen?
Well, I don't know, but not a lot changed during his first term, so I would like to see. He's only got one term left, right? So, he's going to have to move quick and, move fast, break things. But yes, you should be able to fix a lot too. Bring in Vivek, bring in Elon Musk, bring in RFK Jr. Use this tag team of kind of really independent thinking, entrepreneurial spirited geniuses, and let them run wild. I don't see, given how terrible the current paradigm is, I would gleefully accept that new paradigm.
That's true, because technocracy is super dangerous. Getting people plugged into a machine where they can't get out, that's so dangerous. We have to do radical change to subvert it.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, we're really dangerously close to a wider war, either with Iran or with Russia or with China or North Korea. The list goes on and on.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.